It's like, first, I'm sorry to sidetrack a little bit here, but it's crazy like how Bubba goes from being cool and chill to being like an absolute prick in the comment section over here on the side. It's like you're how are you not in a worse state? Like you're better off, or did you just lose like the care about it, the concern about it? Was it like a fake thing when you were a Christian, or was it just like
You're
'cause it's
amazing,
one thing to
Peripheral.
fail.
Don't change, by the way. I also get my fair share of hate. And you're right. That is a funny thing, Scribe. Where you think Bubba's like the chillest guy, and then inside he's like angry, and he's like he lets it out in the text chat.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's like
as it is written, I mean, it's written.
At me. Well, you could say that I'm the guy that like I get mad and I yell at people, but like that's a
At least
personal
you-
failure.
Like you're straight up. You let them know that you're mad with them, and I'm kind of that way too, where I'll just let people know.
It's like
I mean,
it's, you know,
in
it's,
the
it's
epistle
wrong,
from
but
the
it's just a
apostle.
weakness, you know.
Yeah, as it is written in the epistle from the apostle Yaakov, right?
Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
I get
as it is written in the epistle from the apostle Yaakov.
Oh, yeah. I get it. That's completely justifiable for when Rami.
I mean, obviously, I'm trying to say this part.
Just trying to
Obviously, I'm trying to say this part.
To justify the way whenever they get angry at people. But when I get mad at people at the side chat, it's completely unjustified. I understand. And yeah, go ahead, Gregory. Didn't mean to interrupt.
So I mean, as it is written in the epistle from the apostle Yaakov, right? The fool is double-minded and unstable in all their ways.
I was so inspired. Like he had to let it out at that time. That's good.
And yeah, but when it comes to Peripheral, Sapphire, you've been gone for the last 2 or 3 months, and I just see the people that have been treating me differently since I renounced Christianity. Peripheral is one of those people, and it's been to the point where, yeah, I act like that to him in the side chat, and of course, while you guys are talking about why non-believers are satanic and reject the word of God, I listen to all these things, and I just sit here quite calmly, don't lash out, don't take it. I do feel personally attacked, but I don't really.
What does it matter to you? Why does it matter?
You should also be aware of like,
when you're talking
reason.
about Gregory. The reason it matters to me is because you're talking about the demographic of people that I fall into. People how.
So what?
How?
You could have left it.
Wait. So what?
Half an hour ago.
Yeah, I chose to stay because I sit and listen all the time.
So you just like abuse or something? Or
so what? You're becoming indignant against our comments. Why? As though we ought not say them.
What do you mean indignant? The reason why, if you must know, the reason why I was more or less keeping quiet was because I was editing videos and clips and posting them on YouTube. Like, who cares?
No, you're missing the point. Why are you bothered as though we ought not do them? Why?
I'm not running my source of my morality or my sense of justice with you, Gregory, because I know it's just going to run back to my sense of justice, morality, knowledge comes from God, and I reject that, and you don't like that.
So why?
Right, you don't have a justification, so why do you even bother saying the comment?
Gregory, I'm not running it down with you again. I posted like the last time you spoke, and I justified it 5, 6, 7 different ways, and you just don't like it. It's just simple.
You're digitally telling me you're not going to do it again while you're repeating yourself.
Why were you not offended when you were a Christian? Why, I mean, I'm sorry, but why were? Yeah, so just because like, yeah, you said it. You feel like personally attacked because we're talking about unbelief being motivated by Satanism. Like you should, as a former Christian, understand like the sentiment and like why.
He knows.
Oh, yeah, I do know.
He knows. It's not like he doesn't understand.
Yeah, I do know, and I do understand like the area that you guys come from. But then there's also the other side of what you guys are saying, which is like the way that you are allowed to treat people like me, who used to be a Christian and no longer are, and is basically just by.
What do you mean treat you? You're acting as though we're treating you in a way we ought not do so. How do you know?
What are you talking about? It's like the way this.
What do you mean? What am I talking about? Why are you complaining about our words as though we ought not say them?
Again, Gregory, because it's within your moral framework to say that it is okay to do so, and you say it comes from God, and I say it comes from somewhere else, and you just. That's
not what I just asked you. Why are you talking as though we ought not say our comments?
I know.
Don't stop assuming things, Bubba.
I'm not assuming. It's
like you're in a performative contradiction. I'm not going to stop saying this just because it stings your pride. Why are you bothering to say these comments, conveying your contempt against our words as though we ought not say them? Why don't you just be silent?
What's up, baby?
Let's see right there.
But again, like I don't know. I just this is what I meant earlier. It's like, you know, it's no secret to anyone here that I can get heated and have like problems and stuff with people, but like that's like that's a personal failure, and it doesn't reflect on Christianity as a whole. Like the Christian principle is that I, you know, be patient and kind and love my enemy. Whereas like, it doesn't seem to be a principle that you share, and it's not one that like you're failing at. It seems to be the one that you don't adhere to at all. So it's like,
he doesn't have any justification for anything at all.
Well,
like, nothing whatsoever. So why does he even bother speaking up in this channel, especially about ethics?
Well, it's just one thing to say that, like, well, the Christians are mean and they don't treat me right.
He was calling me out for being a dick in the side chat.
Which you are. You're being an asshole.
What does it matter? So you can't even be consistent with your arbitrary self-righteousness. Why do you bother?
What?
Why do you bother? You can't even be consistent. You can't even manage to behave consistently with your self-righteous arbitrary ethics.
I'd never say that my righteousness, as you call it, or morality, as I call it, is any better than yours. I never do.
Wasn't what I conveyed to you. That wasn't my point. You're attacking what I did not convey. So you can't even manage to interpret me correctly when you're right here.
What?
It's ridiculous.
So was that just like when you were a Christian?
Was I a fake Christian, Sapphire? No.
No, I'm saying when you were a Christian, the sentiment, like, were you just doing that out of a sense of following the rules, or because you had a principle? Because like you've chastised me for getting too heated and talk to people even after your apostasy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like,
I did it before,
which is fine.
Yeah, I did it before I was before I apostatized before I renounced Christianity, and after, because no one is going to be receptive to you if you are just shouting fire and brimstone about the gospel.
No, I mean, and that's perfectly fine, and it's good, and I should receive chastisement because, like I said, it is a principle.
Naturalistic fallacy, by the way.
Well, it's a principle of the faith that I be patient and kind.
Oh, what that means.
Like, that's something that I'm working on, but it's like it doesn't seem to be a principle that you adhere to, rather than something that you just like arbitrarily like choose.
Arbitrarily choose. How? Like, to know that it's not very receptive. You know, people are not going to be very receptive to you when you just yell at them. That's not really a thing that I think is...
Doesn't until he ought not say it the way he did.
How receptive is Peripheral supposed to be when you're telling him that he's saying fortune cookie virtue signaling? You're being a prick to him, so it's like, do you care about the receptivity of your message?
Like, do you care why I treat
You shouldn't be so angry, guys.
Yeah,
I agree.
Again, like you
were fine until Bubba spoke up. There's no reason for him to be speaking up in the channel right now. He doesn't have a justification
I wasn't the one who
for
spoke
any of his
up
evaluations.
So, Gregory, Gregory, go ahead and justify. Would you prefer if I just stayed absolutely quiet when Sapphire was talking shit about me and about what I was saying in the side chat? Would you prefer if I just
when you're obviously devoid of any justification for your self-righteous opinions, then yeah.
I always believe they're saying bullshit regardless of what the true facts are. I had never heard Bubba say anything.
I agree, man. The true facts is that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to Christianity.
First of all, Bubba didn't say anything verbally. It's in the side chat, and I called him out for it. So he has perfect right to talk about it. He's just responding to what I was saying.
Perfect right. How does he have a right in his worldview?
Well,
because
again, like,
my behaviors are my behaviors and values.
Sapphire.
Yeah, but now it is where it is now. Peripheral. Too late to go back now. Sunk cost.
No, I was personally wondering because, like I said, like he's chastised me before, and I was wondering like where that comes from. Like if when he was a Christian,
with Peripheral
like,
specifically.
If it was a principle thing.
Well, with Peripheral specifically, no offense, Peripheral, I'm about to talk about you, but I don't like his holier than thou attitude and how great he talks about how great the gospel is and how greatly it's affected his life and his relationship with Jesus, which nothing wrong with that by itself. And no, it's what the parts that you bother me.
Let him speak.
Yeah. You know, like what am I drunk all the time?
No problem with that. It's that you also tell me that I am just a bunch of the arguments for Christianity that I just don't like just that I'm seeking the truth and I will eventually find my way to Jesus since I really am seeking the true truth. And that argument, it's just the worst argument that I've ever heard, and it's not
an argument. It's just a belief that I hold.
That's why I'm not receptive to it, and
It's not an argument.
I know you've admitted to me.
It really isn't an argument.
I know
why you're calling it an argument.
Sure, then I'll change my words. Sure, then I will change my words. Not argument. the claim that you make that I am seeking the truth and that truth is Jesus, and you've admitted to me how completely closed-minded you and how closed-minded you are to anything other than Jesus is God, and God isn't. When I believe that God isn't true, it just throws all my skepticism out the window. Well, so it gives you no reason to talk to me.
As I've said, I was in that position before.
Yeah, I know.
I've arrived. I know the reason conclusion that I believe to be true. It would make no sense for me to say I believe this to be true with a caveat through some inductive reasoning that I could be wrong. Like that, then I would not say that I've arrived at a conclusion.
Just goes to show.
Why are we even bothering with this guy? We've already had the thorough debate with him already.
Because
he doesn't have an apologetic.
The reason that we're fucking here, Gregory, is because your buddy Sapphire, you've been talking to for the last 30 minutes, called me out in the side chat. That's why you're talking to me right now. That's why you care.
No, obviously, that's not what I'm asking about. I'm talking about what is the good in trying to do this when you're obviously devoid of an argument. That's obviously what I conveyed.
I have conveyed my arguments to you very clearly. You just don't accept them, Gregory, because you
don't need to keep repeating that.
I'm going to, whether you like it or not, until I get muted.
That doesn't mean keep repeating that like a child, right?
I'm going to treat you like a child because all you do is treat non-believers like a child.
Raising your volume and repeating the same thing over and over again.
How does it feel, Gregory, to be treated like a child?
Right, that's not what that means.
I'm just wondering, like, how is it exactly self-righteousness when Peripheral says something like that, when like you have been, I assume, seeking the truth the entire time?
You continue to reason with him. I don't get it.
Even when you're a Christian. But I mean, I'm just choosing to. When you were a Christian, you were seeking the truth, and it led you to the phenomenological epistemology where you're at now, the skepticism that you have now. It's like if you are in a position where you were wrong about that.
For the record, Sapphire, the phenomenological epistemology is just the thing I say against precepts like Gregory, who want to use the precept argument against me to say that my knowledge isn't bound in anything. It's bound in plenty of things, he just doesn't accept it.
Well, I mean, there's arguments for, but as far as like your skepticism goes, it's like if you believed in Christianity, but then you arrived at a position where you found to believe that you were wrong about that. Could it not be true that you could again change your position?
Yeah, of course it could.
Back to Christianity?
Unlike most of the people that debate me in this call, I'm very open-minded, and I've showed very clear cases where I am open-minded to changing my mind about God, changing my mind about religion. In the last debate that I was in Gregory, in the last debate that I was in with you, Nair, who's here right now, changed my mind about me saying that supernatural occurrences are completely impossible, and then I changed my mind based on something that Nair said that you were there for, but you were not listening.
The same argument that I told you, the same correction I told you.
Yeah, he's much more convincing than you. You should work on that. And I changed my mind to say,
convincing is an equal justification, right? You should work on that. You should not conflate the two.
But yeah, I am the one who is open-minded in the call, and I would say that I could just point the finger right back at everyone else in this call who is completely not open-minded, which is a problem. Sorry, Peripheral, that I have with Peripheral. It's a problem that I always have had with Gregory, and it's a problem
dude, what? Yeah, but that's like saying, and I've said this before. That's like saying I'm not open-minded because I've concluded that 3 is prime. Like, if you've arrived at a conclusion. Why and you're convinced that that's the case, it would be a violation of your conscience for someone to say no, you can't actually go all in on that belief.
And
right?
Yeah, this is just where we defer, Peripheral, because I don't believe that God is provable. You have to either you have to at some point take a leap of faith and accept that God is true. But you reject
obviously
that.
A canard.
Hold on, wait. What do you mean by
I'm not engaging with you, Gregory, because your positions suck.
What do you mean leap of faith? Like just like an arbitrary throwing?
Yeah, your position sucks. That's this type of argument.
I'm not arguing with you.
Like I was rolling dice one day and it landed on God or something.
What's up, Mayhem?
So, Bubba, you said you got to have faith, right?
More or less. Yeah. You have faith that God exists.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well.
Yeah, I trust God exists. I trust.
Yeah, faith doesn't entail not knowing.
Hold on, I'm not done. Please hold on, I'm not done. So. The whole idea that I have of learning about God and trying to learn to trust Him is that the first thing God gave us is free will, and that we have to choose to believe. We have to choose to believe in the possibility that God exists before we can even move to the next step, which is He does exist. So, the Bible talks about this. My heart, to me, it feels like talks about this. And it says in the Bible, hope, faith, and love. The greatest of these is love. So we have to hope that God exists, have faith God exists, and love that God exists. Because there's a bunch of evidence proving the Bible and the life of Jesus. I mean, it is all over the internet, and I'm sure you've probably seen a bunch of it.
He's defied all that.
It's just no repentance.
You're preaching to a wall. He's defied all of that.
Just continue to do the wicked thing. Just pray to the Lord
but
Jesus.
Let him answer. I asked him a question, not the rest of you.
That's what you guys are preaching.
So I'm asking him.
Mayhem,
why
you didn't say a question.
I was gonna say, Mayhem, you're new to the server. Your account is less than 2 weeks old. I would just let you know that I used to be a Christian mod in this call, and I used to preach the gospel and do apologetics in the server every day. And so what I'm saying is that I have looked into the evidence of a handful amount. Of course, I haven't looked into all of it. I'm not some type of research guru, and just I don't consider it to be convincing enough into God's existence. And I used to be a Christian for 2 years, and everyone else gets the rest.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't have a justification. He's just not convinced.
I do, Gregory. You just don't like it, little buddy.
You don't have one. You literally ended the debate with, "This is my belief. This is my worldview. You not convinced. I believe this." That's how you ended. You didn't end with an argument. You just ended with the truism that you believe what you believe.
Yeah,
you just stubbornly stomped your feet, defecated on the chessboard, and stomped away.
You stomped on it, Gregory. You got me. It's that I have run it through with you before. However, I don't want to repeat the same 45-minute or 1 hour debate that we had.
But you do want to repeat that you don't want to repeat. For some reason.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be productive to me and you. It's not going to build our.
But it is productive to keep repeating that you don't want to repeat.
Why? Because then we're just going to rehash the same exact argument that we had to 20 new people.
Right, and you're still doing it.
It's not fucking productive, Gregory. That's why I'm not doing it.
Yeah, watch your mouth.
Because you feel the need to tell me that I'm repeating it. I'm repeating it for a reason.
Yeah, keep repeating that you don't want to repeat.
I just feel like it could be shocking and unsettling to people who have known you since you were a Christian, even though granted we're on Discord, but it's like it was a surprise to me when I came back from my first hitch at work and you had apostatized because it was still fresh. Yep. And when I had left the first time, you were still a Christian, and then when I come back, you're not. So
he hasn't impacted me like that at all. I'm tired of him yapping in the channel as though he has a reason. When I've already had the debate, I've already exposed his stupidity and ignorance. He doesn't have a reason. So why is he coming into the channel, presuming that he's going to self-righteously admonish us?
Why am I coming into the channel and just listening?
That we ought not do.
Just listening, Gregory? Do you have a problem with me sitting?
Because he is a reprobate. Instead of just not talking, he could just stop talking as though he knows better when he obviously doesn't know better. It's not like he knows how people ought to behave or ought not to behave. So why is he sitting up here admonishing us like he knows how we ought to behave? He doesn't.
I was just saying, Sapphire is trying to stop you from talking, Gregory, because I was silent in this entire call. I'm not sure if you were here when Rami tried to make me talk, and I said, "Oh no, thank you. I wouldn't like to have a debate right now." And then Sapphire called me out for being a piece of shit in the side chat.
I don't need you to explain this to me anymore.
I kind of need to because you respond like a child.
Obviously, it's a rhetorical question exposing that you're not doing it for any good reason.
We don't need
All right, gentlemen. Bubba, one quick question.
It's actually just Gregory, you fucking enabler. He's the one that's fucking yelling.
I asked Raiden.
Watch him mouth and quit yapping.
I DM'd Raiden and asked him the same thing.
You both get along, yeah. Just ignore the guy's
screaming. Could you write out your reason why you stopped believing? So, because it's going to be asked repeatedly, and that way you can just copy and paste it.
I know.
I'd appreciate it because I just really want to know.
Sure.
I really want to know.
Don't worry. I will tell you. It's just I doubt that I will be able to finish without getting interrupted by Gregory. But the reason is because more or less the Christian doctrine, and a big part of it is I don't believe in the supernatural, and so that has to go with the things like the parting of the Red Sea. There's like 6-day creation was a big one. Walls of Jericho, that's one. What else? The serpent in the Garden of Eden.
We don't need all the examples. I understand you
get
all of it. I'll trust you at your word.
Yep, and apart from that, just a bunch of little things. Like I have my own kind of individual very small problems with the Trinity itself. What else? I have this all written down somewhere because I get this question.
Did something that happened at all?
He began with he doesn't believe.
There it is. I was wondering how long it was going to take.
It wasn't interrupting. I began speaking when you weren't talking. But you know the difference.
So Bubba, I have in his notes form. He doesn't believe in miracles. He went over that.
prayer.
Miracles is a good one. Prayer is one. Like
prayer
is a very small.
Hold on. I want to refer this back to you, Bubba. I'm going to see if I got this right. Okay.
Prayer is a very small thing.
Yeah, prayer. Get what a Christian is.
Oh, yeah,
evil, Trinity.
Problem of evil. That's a good one.
And then Trinity. Yeah. So miracles, prayer. Understand what a Christian actually is, evil, and Trinity. Those are the things that I have down.
Yeah, I can. For you. And I mean,
Thank you, but I want to ask Bubba.
Yeah, Mayhem asked him for a reason, but he didn't give a reason. Just reiterated that he doesn't believe.
Gregory, giving them to you, just don't accept them. So yes, the all those things, especially the supernatural, because I think every single one of those things can be tied back to the idea that I don't believe in supernatural occurrences, places, or causes. You know. And that was just a long. That was just like a long-term struggle for me. It's not like one day I came to the flip of a switch realization where I was like, supernatural things can't happen. Like, this is clear evidence because of that. It's like, no, it was a long-term struggle for me ever since I became a Christian and got baptized.
But that's
so there was no existential problem that occurred in your life that said, heck no, God can't be real. And then you started down that path. It was just the more you learned, the more you did not believe.
So it was like this. When I first started going to church, for the record, I first started going to church as an atheist, and people were very receptive to me until I got a lot of my initial questions answered, just like things I wasn't too sure about, like I don't know, just like what it meant for Jesus to be died and resurrected on the cross, evidence that it really happened, etc. And a lot of those like very big important questions got answered for me. But then there were still like these kind of back of the mind questions, like I really don't think that like you could really part the Red Sea. I really like don't think that like walls of Jericho, 6-day creation, I don't think that this stuff is real. And that stuff just never really got answered for me in a way that was in the way that is justified. I stepped down
like a natural.
I just renounced that belief, or that's why I renounced Christianity 2 months ago.
Yeah, for some reason, the God can do that is not sufficient for him. For some reason, without a reason.
How could you believe in resurrection from the dead, but splitting the Red Sea is like too much? That's too far.
It's like I just kind of refrain from saying resurrection from the dead because that's the big one, you know. So and yes, resurrection from the dead is one of them.
So you never believed that?
Oh no, I had struggled believing in it, and you know I would, and you
he
heard
you
heard me breaking down the reasons why the resurrection is true and why I was justified in believing that the resurrection was true. So yes, the short answer is yes, I did believe in it at a certain time, and
he believed that he believed.
Well, this
Shut
is
up,
the thing that I make because again, like I understand like
here's something really interesting.
What's up?
Sorry, I just want to say one thing real quick. It's interesting that his belief or lack thereof on Christ raising from the dead may have always been an issue, because as Scripture says that if you believe
Sergeant,
in your heart, you will be saved. So it seems to be maybe there was an issue with the heart. Maybe, you know, I don't know exactly, Bubba. I mean, maybe you never really were a Christian. Maybe you were at one point and you fell away. Maybe you'll come back. Obviously, time will tell. But it's very possible, even off of that confession or profession right there, that maybe you never really believed in your heart, and you were never really saved. So
the Lord never loses any of his sheep.
I'm sorry, the person who sees the sun doesn't deny its existence when the moon rises, bro.
The person who sees
the Lord never loses any of his sheep.
Just because the sun sets, it doesn't mean you cease to believe in it.
Just because the sun.
Yeah, but I mean, so Gregory, so I'm just saying, like, it's
unsee the light.
So I'm just saying that it's possible, Gregory, right? That maybe he did believe in his heart. Maybe he doesn't really know he did. Maybe he did, and maybe he'll come back to the sheepfold. Or the case is maybe he actually never really did believe in his heart. Maybe he never really was a Christian, but just adopted it for whatever reason. It doesn't matter of the heart.
One who has true faith loses it.
Like, I cannot prove to you with any shred of evidence that Christ rose from the dead, but I believe it wholeheartedly happened. I believe it like I know it happened.
I know how you guys treat me like I didn't used to have the exact same beliefs as you do right now. Like you're just trying
again,
it's fine.
I don't see
You
how.
just said you don't
you
know.
Said you struggled with it the whole time, though.
Oh yeah, more or less, of course.
It doesn't seem like you ever came to that point where, I mean, you
It's
knocked
like
me for being resounding in my faith, but at the same time, were you not ever in that same position as a Christian that were like, if someone said, you know, like, could you be persuaded away from Christ? You ever were able to say yes?
Could I be? I think it would be disingenuous to say that it's impossible to be persuaded away that the evidence that Jesus resurrected.
Well, then you didn't have faith.
Yeah, then that's just a cop out.
People literally died for this.
It's not a cop out.
Oh yeah,
you don't like it.
Absolutely is.
Security is granted
110%.
as a gift of the Spirit. It doesn't matter.
I 100% believe that that's just a cop out, because like if someone were to,
it's not a cop out.
Because
you don't
it's
have
like
a
this,
reason.
Yes, it's like this, because that's exactly like saying I can show you in a time, if we were to travel back in time at a time machine and show you that Jesus didn't actually raise from the dead, he actually died and didn't resurrect, then you'd be like, oh no, I still believe in Jesus. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, a great appeal to a hypothetical fantasy.
Yeah,
cool
shut
story.
up, Gregory. You are just
yeah, that really proved your point.
Oh, the thing is if we got
it's not a cop out. That's your cop out. Buddy. You just deny that
it's not my cop out. It's not my belief.
Fruits and gifts of the Spirit, and so because you in your pride don't want to acknowledge that you are guilty of his indictment and you will perish under his condemnation if you don't repent and he doesn't save you, you then want to retort back at me and to us that it's a cop-out. No, it's not a cop-out. It's just being consistent with the Lord's revelation. The Lord cannot be dispossessed of his possessions.
Yeah, no. Mic check. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. We good?
We can hear you, bro.
Cool.
No,
yeah, I touched my wire. It was cool. Shush. Who was that? Was that? It sounded like Naya.
We can't hear you, man. We can't hear you.
It sounded like Naya. Is that? But yeah, two things. One, it absolutely is a cop out, because I'm sure that if I were
why are you repeating yourself?
Because you're an idiot, Gregory, and I need to talk to you like a 5-year-old.
You're an idiot, so you're the one that needs to stop talking.
And yeah, that's the thing. When I was listening to you guys talk, I was just being patient, letting you guys bash people and saying that the reason that I don't believe in Jesus is because of my own pride is getting in the way. I don't believe that's the case at all.
Do you have a justification for insinuating that we ought not say what we said?
I assumed that it was by mistake.
2 seconds. My wife is asking me Bible questions.
You were laughing. You were sitting there laughing.
Nobody was, and when we were talking about the whole pride thing, right? Although it wasn't, I was speaking necessarily before you were talking about the uncontained person, how maybe we should engage with that. That's what the discussion was about. But you were in here.
It stung his pride, so now he has to masturbate his pride publicly, pretending that he knows
Bubba, so your wife is a believer and you're not, or is she like struggling as well?
To my knowledge, she's not a believer.
Bubba said his wife has to sleep with him.
Continues to come back to this room. What is
We've asked him that tonight and repeatedly before you got here.
Okay, can I answer the chat? I want to answer something. Okay, I have my reasons why I don't go follow these Christian group settings. Because I have bad experiences with those people, and it's hard for me, and it's hard for me to take them seriously. No, he's responding to me. He's not cutting me off. He's acknowledging. And it's hard for me to take people seriously when I see a lot of dirt amongst these Christians. And we all know that people are not imperfect, but at least for the ability for them to repent or to better themselves, most Christians don't have that. And this is why I can't. That's not. What's that?
I said, look to Christ, not to the Christians. Look
Thank
to
you.
Christ.
No, you're right. You're right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. So maybe the modern Christian I can't take seriously, and I can't take the group seriously. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to look for, for my own self.
Oh yeah,
so I'm just gonna.
What Sarge said is correct. It's like don't seek out Christianity. Seek out Jesus Christ. And because Christianity itself has been used to justify some horrible things. That's when we say the Salem witch trials, the Inquisition, the Crusades. A lot of people try to say that the Crusades were justified, but whatever. It's that you can use your belief for the way that Christianity's been interpreted to to justify some indecent behaviors. Put it that way.
We can agree with that.
Self-defeating concession to that fact.
Gregory, why are you being contrarian when I just said a very righteous thing about Christianity?
Right, it just
contrarian. I literally just acknowledged that you conceded to the truth, which is self-defeating for you.
It comes across as like Reddit tier though, Bubba. Like I know you heard that exact criticism when you were a Christian from an atheist in this chat. It's like 101 level stuff. And
what are you talking? No, Sergeant. It's the exact same. I used the exact same wordage when
Sergeant,
I was.
Sapphire.
Oh, yeah. It's potato. Gregory Schmeggery. It's that
It's not analogous.
I use that exact same argument for people that like say that Christianity has been used to justify some horrible things, and I said don't seek out Christianity, seek out Jesus Christ, and I word for word, bar for bar, just repeated it to what's his name, Shadow.
But
do you have a problem? Do you have a problem with that?
Sergeant said.
Yeah, the problem I have with that is that you can't separate the two. That like even though the people themselves may be imperfect, we're members of the bodies of Christ, and we consume His flesh and blood and are adopted into the household of God by grace through faith. And like you can't say like there's a truth in Christ apart from Christianity because Christ is Christianity.
Do you have a problem? Just be real with me right now, Sapphire. Do you have a problem with me saying that there is truth in Jesus Christ?
You're again. I want to reframing it. Obviously, I don't have a problem with that explicit.
Then what is the argument about?
The way that you're reframing it as though Christianity is somehow separate from Christ when the church is His bride.
Yeah, I think it would be some clarification, right? So to Shadow, and this touches on y'all's point too, because Sapphire, right, like there is Christians that are imitating Christ that you could model yourself after, that maybe one looks to as a role model to better themselves. You know, we all could think of a person or two that, you know, fits that criteria. But Shadow, the problem is too, is what I would say, which obviously it's hard to squeeze in but so much words here, is that like if you're looking for that on a platform like this, when this platform is called Discord, which actually the Bible
that's true,
which it was actually the Bible specifically tells us to not do, is that He hates those who actually sow discord. He hates it, the Bible says. So, like, when you're looking on a platform like this that encourages that type of behavior, you know, you're going to get what you get, you know. So, when you seek out Christ in spirit, I think that you'll be led in other ways, and just don't get so caught up with these technological platforms we have. And I think
I'll take that advice.
Young eras, that's hard to do.
It's just a debate. It's a debate platform for one. It's not necessarily a formal debate, and it's like again, like it's one thing to like criticize a Christian for not being patient or kind because that is a Christian principle that the Scripture outlines, and because people fail at it, that doesn't mean the principle is wrong. But like it's another thing for you to freely use insults and cuss words and stuff like that, and then come at Christians like we're the bad guys and we're being intolerant. When you're doing exactly the same sort of thing.
The reason why that's justified is because it was like things like me cussing and swearing and calling people assholes is totally justified under my worldview. I know what your worldview entails. So when you're being impatient and getting really mad at me for laughing at everything you guys are saying in the side, or sorry, laughing out loud in the VC and also insulting Peripheral in the side chat, aren't you supposed to more or less turn the other cheek?
Say your argument and identify the rule of inference. Now,
you
said it's justified. Say your argument and identify the rule of inference.
Gregory, why are you being so impatient with me?
Go ahead, say the argument and identify the rule of inference now.
No. Already did it.
Because you don't have one.
No, because I already did it with you.
Pretending that you know better.
No, because I already did it with you, and you just don't accept it, and you are a closed-minded fool.
Neither did you identify the rule of inference.